Hi guys, welcome back to Flick Finesse. This time, we've prepared a fresh list of the best thriller movies currently streaming on HBO Max, Hulu, and AMC+. It's not just the big titles, we've included some lesser-known gems too, so everyone can discover something new and exciting to watch. We hope this collection helps you find your next favorite thriller. So let's not waste any more time and jump straight into the list. Number 12. Death of a Unicorn. Directed by Alex Sharfman, Death of a Unicorn is a darkly absurd horror fantasy that fuses satirical social commentary with blood-soaked creature thrills and surreal family drama. The film centers on Elliot and his teenage daughter Ridley, who accidentally run over a unicorn while traveling to a remote island estate owned by a pharmaceutical tycoon. What begins as a bizarre accident spirals into corporate chaos as the unicorn's magical blood reveals healing properties, igniting a greedy scramble among elites and triggering supernatural vengeance from more vengeful unicorns. Paul Rudd grounds the film with quiet, sardonic gravitas as Elliot, while Jenna Ortega brings sharp-edged charm and gothic presence as Ridley. Supporting turns from Will Poulter, Téa Leoni, and Richard E. Grant heighten the tension and the satire, with performances that oscillate between comedic and grotesque. Visually grotesque and tonally offbeat, Death of a Unicorn thrives on weird energy, gruesome humor, and a unique blend of myth and cynicism. Number 11. The Unholy. Directed by Evan Spiliotopoulos, The Unholy is a supernatural horror thriller that fuses religious mythology with eerie atmosphere and classic possession tropes. The film centers on Jerry Fenn, a disgraced journalist who stumbles upon a supposed miracle in a small New England town. A deaf-mute girl named Alice claims to have been visited by the Virgin Mary and gains the ability to hear and speak. As the town becomes a hotspot for pilgrimages, Jerry investigates the phenomena, only to uncover that something far more sinister may be at work behind the miracles. Jeffrey Dean Morgan anchors the film with a grounded, skeptical performance as Fenn, navigating the tension between faith and fear. Cricket Brown delivers a haunting turn as Alice, and the supporting cast, including Carrie Elwes and William Sadler, add weight to the unfolding mystery. Visually haunting and paced with creeping dread, The Unholy leans on familiar horror beats, shadowy churches, whispered Latin, and possession, but offers enough twists and lore to satisfy fans of religious horror. Number 10. Bloodfather. Directed by Jean-François Richet, Bloodfather is a gritty and fast-paced action thriller that fuses raw emotional stakes with pulpy, high-octane violence. The film centers on John Link, an ex-con and recovering alcoholic who lives in a rundown trailer in the desert. His quiet life is shattered when his estranged teenage daughter Lydia suddenly reappears, on the run from a dangerous drug cartel. Determined to protect her, John is forced back into a world of violence, leading to a brutal showdown against the criminals hunting them. Mel Gibson anchors the film with a grizzled, intense performance, channeling both vulnerability and explosive rage. He's matched by Erin Moriarty, who brings a mix of fragility and defiance as Lydia. Together, their chemistry adds emotional depth to the relentless action. Supporting players like Diego Luna and William H. Macy add sharp texture to the narrative. Lean, stylish, and unflinching, Bloodfather doesn't waste a second. It's a raw, stripped-down thriller that blends parental redemption with bullet-scarred mayhem. Fans of hard-edged action with a beating heart will find it gripping, gritty, and surprisingly poignant. Number 9. OG. Directed by Madeline Sackler, OG is a stark and introspective prison drama that fuses raw realism with quiet emotional depth and a powerful exploration of redemption. The film centers on Luis Menkins, a once-feared prison gang leader approaching the end of a 24-year sentence. As he navigates the final days before release, Luis is assigned to mentor a young, volatile new inmate, forcing him to reckon with the violent legacy he's leaving behind and the fragile hope of who he might still become. Jeffrey Wright anchors the film with a masterfully restrained performance, embodying a man burdened by his past, yet yearning for transformation. His subtle intensity is matched by a cast that includes real-life inmates, giving the film an unfiltered authenticity that heightens its emotional weight. Shot inside a maximum security prison, OG is visually sparse, but thematically rich. It forgoes sensationalism in favor of character tension and moral complexity. Fans of grounded, socially conscious thrillers will find it a haunting, quietly powerful meditation on identity, consequence, and the human capacity for change. Number 8. Nocebo. Directed by Lorcan Finnegan, Nocebo is a haunting psychological thriller that fuses slow-burning mystery with supernatural horror and biting social critique. The film centers on Christine, a successful fashion designer plagued by a mysterious illness no doctor can diagnose. When a Filipina caregiver named Diana arrives at her doorstep claiming she was sent to help, Christine's condition begins to shift, but so does her grip on reality. As buried secrets emerge, the line between healer and avenger begins to blur in unsettling ways. Eva Green anchors the film with a chillingly layered performance, capturing Christine's unraveling psyche with elegance and dread. Chai Fonacier delivers a quietly powerful turn as Diana, blending warmth with eerie intensity. Their dynamic builds an atmosphere of mistrust and tension that drives the film's creeping horror. Fans of elevated horror and socially conscious storytelling will find it deeply unsettling and uniquely thought-provoking. Number 7. Walking Out. Directed by Alex and Andrew J. Smith, Walking Out is a quiet and contemplative survival thriller that fuses rugged wilderness with restrained emotional drama and coming-of-age introspection. The film centers on David, a city-raised teenager who travels to Montana to reconnect with his estranged father, Cal, for a traditional hunting trip. But when an accident leaves Cal severely wounded, the journey turns into a perilous test of survival, forcing David to confront not only the harsh natural elements, but the emotional distance that has long existed between them. Josh Wiggins leads the film with a vulnerable and evolving performance, capturing David's transformation from passive observer to determined survivor. Matt Bomer brings stoic depth and raw intensity to Cal, portraying a man hardened by solitude, yet quietly desperate to bond with his son. Fans of character-driven survival stories will find it quietly powerful and emotionally resonant. Number 6. The Boy Behind the Door. Directed by David Charbonnier and Justin Powell, The Boy Behind the Door is a tense and minimalist thriller that fuses childhood vulnerability with relentless suspense and emotional grit. The film centers on Bobby and Kevin, two young boys who are kidnapped and taken to a remote house. When Bobby manages to escape, he discovers that Kevin is still trapped inside. Rather than run for help, Bobby bravely chooses to stay and fight back, setting off a harrowing game of cat and mouse that unfolds in near real time. Lonnie Chavis anchors the film with a remarkably raw and expressive performance, capturing Bobby's fear, determination, and loyalty with quiet power. The minimal adult cast, including Kristen Bauer Van Straten as a chilling antagonist, keeps the focus tightly on the boy's peril and resilience. Fans of stripped-down high-stakes thrillers will find it gripping, heart-wrenching, and a powerful testament to the strength of friendship under impossible odds. Number 5. Cracks. Directed by Jordan Scott, Cracks is a haunting psychological thriller that fuses gothic atmosphere with simmering tension and an undercurrent of forbidden desire. The film centers on Miss G, an enigmatic diving instructor at an elite all-girls boarding school in 1930s England. When a mysterious new student, Fiamma, arrives from Spain, her beauty and independence disrupt the tight-knit group and stir intense jealousy in both the students and Miss G, leading to a chilling unraveling of obsession, power, and control. Eva Green commands the screen as Miss G, delivering a mesmerizing performance that blends charisma, fragility, and quiet menace. Maria Valverde brings grace and vulnerability to Fiamma, while Juno Temple adds edge as the fiercely loyal Dee, whose worldview begins to crumble as dark secrets surface. Fans of cerebral, atmospheric thrillers will find it haunting, provocative, and quietly devastating. Number 4. Wakefield. Directed by Robin Swigward, Wakefield is a quietly unsettling psychological drama that fuses existential isolation with dark introspection and biting social critique. The film centers on Howard Wakefield, a successful lawyer and family man who one evening impulsively hides in the attic above his garage, watching his wife and daughters carry on without him. What begins as a petty escape from domestic routine morphs into months of voyeuristic withdrawal as Howard grapples with his identity, purpose, and the meaning of freedom. Bryan Cranston anchors the film with a captivating solo performance, delivering internal monologues rich in wit, pain, and self-delusion. His portrayal captures the subtle unraveling of a man torn between resentment and longing, making even the stillest moments compelling. Jennifer Garner, though seen mostly from a distance, adds emotional depth to the story through her quiet presence. Visually sparse yet thematically rich, Wakefield is less about plot and more about existential dissection. It's a slow-burning character study that challenges viewers to confront uncomfortable truths about self-worth, alienation, and the fragile threads that bind us to others. Fans of introspective, thought-provoking dramas will find it both strange and deeply absorbing. Number 3. Get Shorty. Directed by Barry Sonnenfeld, Get Shorty is a slick and witty crime comedy that fuses sharp satire with noir cool and Hollywood absurdity. The film centers on Chili Palmer, a Miami loan shark with a love for movies who travels to Los Angeles to collect a debt, only to find himself drawn into the world of filmmaking. As he navigates shady producers, washed-up actors, and rival gangsters, Chili discovers that the movie business isn't so different from the mob, just with better dialogue. John Travolta anchors the film with effortless charm and deadpan confidence, delivering one of his most iconic post-Pulp Fiction performances. He's backed by a killer ensemble cast, including Gene Hackman as a flailing producer, Rene Russo as a savvy B-movie actress, and Danny DeVito as a hilariously egotistical star. Fans of crime thrillers with a comedic twist will find it a smart, entertaining ride that blurs the line between crime and cinema with irresistible swagger. Number 2. Basic. Directed by John McTiernan, Basic is a twist-heavy military thriller that fuses mystery, deception, and high-stakes interrogation with a gritty, rain-soaked atmosphere. The film centers on DEA agent Tom Hardy, who is brought in to investigate the mysterious disappearance of a feared Army drill sergeant, Nathan West, and several of his elite Ranger trainees during a training exercise in Panama. As Hardy interviews the surviving soldiers, conflicting stories begin to emerge, each more contradictory than the last, forcing him to untangle a web of lies, betrayal, and hidden agendas. John Travolta leads the film with cocky charisma and sharp intensity as Hardy, while Samuel L. Jackson brings commanding presence and menace to the role of Sergeant West. Connie Nielsen, Giovanni Ribisi, and Ty Diggs round out a capable ensemble, each playing a piece in the film's constantly shifting puzzle. Packed with flashbacks, unreliable narrators, and a barrage of plot twists, Basic keeps viewers guessing until its final, controversial reveal. Though divisive and often polarizing, it's a labyrinthine thriller that rewards fans who enjoy layered storytelling and high-tension mind games wrapped in a military procedural setting. Number 1. Sunshine. Directed by Danny Boyle, Sunshine is a visually stunning and cerebral sci-fi thriller that fuses existential tension with cosmic horror and philosophical undertones. The The film centers on a team of international astronauts aboard the Icarus II, a spacecraft sent on a desperate mission to reignite the dying sun with a massive nuclear payload. As they approach their target, a series of technical failures, moral dilemmas, and a mysterious distress signal from the lost Icarus wine force the crew into increasingly dire situations, threatening not only the mission, but humanity's last hope for survival. Cillian Murphy leads the ensemble with a quietly intense performance, supported by a stellar cast including Chris Evans, Rose Byrne, Michelle Yeoh, and Hiroyuki Sanada. Each actor brings emotional nuance to their role, capturing the psychological toll of isolation, pressure, and the vast unknown. Fans of thought-provoking space thrillers will find it mesmerizing, unsettling, and ultimately unforgettable.